basketball. Tony Petosa, his 13th year with the same school that he went to school with, and so it'll be his experience with CSI and Bob Holford's experience as a basketball coach matching wits. But the bottom line is, well, the players play well. David Paul will jump set it with Khalil Nixon. We are set. CUNY basketball. The title is at stake. And let's see. Looks like both guys knocked it out of bounds, but the referee, Nate Milligan, says that it will be Medgar Evers' ball. Raheem Lowry inbounding the ball, and Steve Chase will be chased around the court by one of the great veterans in the CUNY Conference, Champ Albano. Oh, look at that. What a time to be sleeping. Lowry wasn't even looking at the ball.
Nerves will play a big part in the first 5 to 7 minutes of this game.
Look at Nixon backing in. He's so big and strong. Jerome flies into the lane, high off glass.
Good start for Medgar, attacking the rim, attacking the glass. Nice start for Medgar Evers.
Shot clock was running down, but they were patient and found a way to go with it. Well, you'll have to take a look at big number 33, who got the ball now for Staten Island. He's the MVP of the conference 2 years running. Shot goes up, and the rebound put back by Mike Alfieri, and a foul is called.
He's one of the unsung heroes, Alfieri. He does the dirty work, he crashes the boards, plays tough post defense. Key player for the Dolphins.
Tony Petosa was pleased, even more so this year, with his depth in the forecourt. Said he has better size than he had last year in the team that lost to CCNY in the championship game. Mike Alfieri and his emergence would be one reason why.
They also have a player, John Smith, off the bench, very, very talented.
The second doesn't go. Little look at the hoop by Nesbitt, that doesn't go, and it's 2-1. A minute gone by. Gary Axelbank, Steve Schulman of Lehman, and it is the CUNY championship game. Chase into Nixon. Nice move. You see Raheem Lowry with a lot of skills, and he puts it up, and the Cougars with a 4-1 lead.
Nixon and Lowry really hurt him last game. They just kept going inside just like that last time they played in February.
They didn't change the score on the scoreboard, but there's no question it's 4-1. Little side jump doesn't go by Michael Stewart, and the running Cougars. Boom!
That's Cougar basketball. They get the crowd into it. They run the lanes, and that's why Tony's got to have composure.
Jam was made by Khalil Nixon, and I guess even if you're rooting for Staten Island, you got to appreciate the athleticism on that. Nesbitt misses a jump shot, and the Cougars looking to make it happen. Using their double post, Nixon and Lowry are so big and strong and agile.
Nixon just hurt a lot of people throughout the year. Transfer from Xavier, played Division I basketball. He's tough. He's a tough matchup for everybody in CUNY.
The foul is called, and it'll be on David Paul. Now, last year in the championship game against CCNY, David Paul never got going. Tony Petosa said, you know what? David Paul's got to be a factor. He doesn't have to score. He's got to be a factor. An early foul is not a good sign.
Don't worry. I think David's going to come to play today. It's his senior year, and when it's all said and done, he's going to have a good game today.
Final CUNY game. One knock, here's a look on the inside the play. You saw the foul there on David Paul with the body. Nixon, the one thing that he does not do well is shoot fouls. He's only a 44% free throw shooter.
And that will be a factor. When we played Medgar, that was one of our strategies. The whole overtime, we just fouled him.
Trying to get Nixon to the line.
Yes.
Nixon gets his first, kind of pushing Albano out of bounds. Tell you, the guy with the basketball now, Champ Albano, is an important player. He's a veteran player, and he knows how to handle his team in a big game.
You can see Medgar right now is trying to deny Champ the ball. When he doesn't have the ball, their offense suffers a little bit.
Ball thrown away. Chase hits the layup. It's all Medgar Evers so far. 8-1, 2.5 in. And Tony Petosa said, all right, look, it's early yet. We'll get ourselves set.
That's a good timeout for Tony. He just has to keep the team composed. Medgar will let him back in the game if they stay composed. Good timeout.
last year, we were talking about the finals last year. The CCNY Beavers on their home court, what was a storybook season, beat the College of Staten Island 77-69. Really stunning upset because CCNY had to play a play-in game just to qualify for the tournament.
It was a miracle run last year by CCNY. Andy Stanfield did an unbelievable job, and it'll go down in history as one of the biggest upsets in CUNY.
They hadn't won a championship since 1980. And Medgar trying to do their first one since 1991. Albano and Chase. What a great matchup that is. Look how quick Chase is. Albano darts in and around a screen. Nixon gets the rebound. The Cougars look like they came to play, I'll tell you that.
Coach Holford always come to play. They play with no fear at all. They're always attacking. If you're not playing hard, he takes you out and gets someone else in.
Lowry makes it 10-1. David Paul has yet to see any real action. Gets the ball now. The fadeaway. And the leading scorer in the history of Staten Island gets the first field goal for the Dolphins.
Tony will get it. He'll get it done today. David Paul will get it done today.
The ball is run down by Anthony Henderson, his first touch of the game, and Medgar will reset. I like the way Steve Chase has run the show so far.
He's a great point guard, and you see Medgar, they're smart, get it right inside the big guy.
They got two big players down there. Boy, those guys big and strong and agile.
They come to play, they're tough to stop.
12-3 with 16 minutes left in the first half. Nesbitt will take his first shot of the game. Lowry with the rebound. Henderson. They called the block. It didn't even look like there was contact.
Yeah, well, he tried to step in and join a charge, but I think he slid a little bit. I think it was a good call by the official. And Staten Island's got to stay composed. They got to stay in this ball game.
And Tony Pedrosa said, look, I've seen enough. Before this gets way out of hand, I better slow it down. 14-3, Gary Axelbank, Coach Steve Schulman. You're watching the 37th annual Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships on BronxNet and CUNY TV.
I have an asthma attack. I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
There are more than 500,000 people with vision loss in New York City, and many could be helped by Visions. If you or someone you know has difficulty seeing or is legally blind, Visions can provide free rehabilitation instruction. Visions also offers programs where blind or visually impaired of all ages can learn skills or socialize with their peers. Call Vision Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired at 212-625-1616. 625-1616. We help people who don't see well live like those who do.
Okay, back with you at the Sportsplex. You saw the foul called. Boy, I'll tell you, almost not enough contact, but they did call the foul, and that's the way it goes. 14-3. CSI needs to do something on offense. They go to Nesbitt, and Michael Stewart gets it back. Previous matches, each team won one. Alfieri down low.
Nice execution out of the timeout by CSI, getting it inside for an easy basket.
Jerome, high off glass, crashes the boards, but it goes out of bounds.
That's how the Cougars play. They're just going to keep coming at you. They're not worried about the score.
And you also got to keep checking your scorecard. It's a wholesale changes. Malik Copeland in the game. And let's see who else is coming in. Trying to get some uniform numbers. Oh, Jabbar Clayton, number 23, may be the best player on the team. He didn't even start. And Alexander Cologne also in the game, number 25.
Well, Copeland and Jabbar Clayton were both all-conference players, and they're coming off the bench.
And they're leading 14-5. Michael Stewart commits the walk. Now, Stewart is a freshman, and that's always an interesting prospect in a championship game. How well does he handle it? Copeland throws the ball away. Almost like with these changes, he's giving CSI a chance to get back in it.
That's how Medgar plays, though, and they've done it all season, and they just try to wear you down.
Nesbitt passes up a three-point chance. Look at the defense by Cologne. Staten Island staying patient. This time Nesbitt will shoot the three. And it doesn't go. The Cougars will run. Nesbitt only a 19% three-point shooter. Nixon so big inside. And good position by Kasim Nesbitt.
They're playing behind him, though. They want to see if he can make that shot all game.
Albano will swing it to Stewart. The idea is to get that guy the ball. David Paul to Michael Stewart. The high rebound goes to the tallest man in the court, Khalil Nixon. Clayton from deep, trying to get himself into the game. Big offensive rebound. And the putback by Raheem Lowry.
They're just really hurting them on the glass right now. The two big guys have come to play, and CSI is having a hard time stopping.
6-point lead for Lowry. 16-5 lead for the Cougars. 13:35 left in the first half. Nesbitt on Clayton. What a good matchup that is. Paul up behind the screen. Big rebound by Alfieri in the putback. Mike Alfieri with 5 points in the game, and the lead is now to 9. Cologne comes right back and misses. Nesbitt to Albano to David Paul. 3 seniors right there playing their last CUNY game. Good night.
Good block there, but they're really going into Nesbitt a lot. They're trying to get him going, trying to get him on the foul line. He's their clutch guy. I think he's probably their most valuable player.
The Cougars trying to feed off emotion right now. My feeling is that Staten Island is saying, okay, have all the emotion you want. We're going to just try to play solid.
That's what they do, and both teams are playing their style. And I think it's going to be a real close game. Medgar, with all the subbing, they usually let you back in the game. Their philosophy is we're just going to wear you down and win it the last 5 minutes.
Second bucket by David Paul. And into the game also Eric Andres, the slender number 15. As is number 31, John Smith, the freshman out of Bayside High School. The ball knocked out of bounds. Stewart with his second turnover. That's what you expect from a freshman in a championship game.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, he's a real good freshman. And once he gets his feet set and nerves away from him, he'll play well. He's a quality freshman.
The talk around the conference was, hey, who are these 2 freshmen that Tony got? And John Smith and Michael Stewart were the 2 of them.
He actually brought them in at break last year into the school. Didn't let them play. They just practiced with the team. I think that's helped them a lot because they're not really freshmen. They had that semester under their belt.
All right, the foul is called on Eric Andres. Jabbar Clayton, boy, they moved the ball nicely. Nixon, the tower of strength. Bullies at home, 6 points for Nixon.
Nixon just turned into the left hand for that lefty hook. He's having a big night.
Albano guarded by Cologne. Cologne, a lot of action on defense. Stewart to the baseline, no good. Man, those guys get up high, don't they?
Nixon just cleaning glass.
Nice bounce pass, but the layup is missed by Henry Jameson, who just checked in. When you come off the bench and you get the ball on the fly, sometimes it's a little hard to go right up with it.
Yeah, that's one he was thinking dunk all the way, and then I think he had some second thoughts at the last minute. Probably should have used the backboard.
Well, of course, hindsight's easy to say. Easy to say that. 18-9, 11:35 left. The Cougars came out running, and they've held on to the lead so far, although Staten Island's captured a little momentum. There's John Smith up top, and now it's Stewart. Andres, they post up Smith. The turnaround is good.
That's a big-time move right there by a freshman. Little fadeaway jumper over the big man.
And he was reasonably well defended, too. Copeland floats it inside to Jamison, but he walked. So Jamison misses a layup and then commits a violation, and the 7-point lead for the Cougars. Steve Chase checks in. Man, they've run players in and out of the game the whole night.
They're going to do it the whole night. They're going to do it to about the 4-minute mark in the second half. Then he'll get the best 5 that have been playing that day, and he'll stick with them.
Gives you incentive to play well if you want to play well in crunch time.
That's kind of how he works.
The foul is inside, and a finger is pointed directly at Steve Chase. Steve gets his first foul.
Staten Island just has to stay composed. They'll get back in the ball game, and it should be a real good one.
18-11 right now. I like Champ Albano. I like his skills and I like his leadership. The guy who just inbounded the ball. And he gets it back. Andres to the baseline. Yeah, plenty of time on the clock. Albano to Andres. High rebound. Good timing by Eric Andres for the follow. The lead is down to 5. The ball finds its way to Copeland. Jabbar Clayton has not been a factor yet. Contact and one.
Nice drive by Clayton. I'd like to see that one on the replay. Looked like he might have had position, but we'll have to see.
I'll tell you the thing about Jabbar Clayton is that he was pretty much the best player on this team full of real good players. 6'3" out of Robeson High School, averaged 16.7 points a game, and it is 20-13. We don't have to do All right, we're back with you. We just had a quick audio problem, and it appears that, let's just recap, 9:37 left. The score is the same, 20-13. And we're just getting our audio situation restructured. All right, Gary Axelbank with Coach Steve Shulman of the Lehman Lightning. Number 44 in the game is Mike Nebavlakis.
CSI is staying with them right now. Medgar came out with a lot of emotion, and CSI is kind of weathering the storm right now.
Nebavlakis is a 6'5" freshman out of FDR High School, a 57% foul shooter. Hits them both. Good clutch free shooting as you come off the bench. Long jump by Copeland. Andres with a good rebound. Andres has had one on either end. He had a lane.
Andres, senior off the bench. He started every game for them last year, and this year he's changed his role and done a great job coming off the bench.
3-point lead for the Cougars. Make it 6. Sean Jerome puts one up. Jerome now with 5 points. And Albano brings it back. Albano part of a family unit. His sister plays for CSI and his brother playing at Hunter. David Paul goes up. gets the bucket and the foul. And if you were wondering, gee, is David Paul going to get into it? I think you get the feeling David Paul is just tuning his game up in this championship game.
Yeah, that was a nice set by CSI. They reversed the ball. They got Paul one-on-one on the left side, and that's where he's tough. Post players can't cover him in the CUNY conference.
Got to look there at Tony Petosa. Interesting relationship between Tony Petosa and David Paul. Tony had been the all-time scorer, all-time leading scorer for the CSI Dolphins. And it was during the tournament that he was passed by David Paul. And I asked Tony, well, do you feel bad about it? He said, no, let me tell you, I hope he scores 100, and I hope he scores 100 tonight.
Yeah, they were joking about Tony possibly benching him so he wouldn't break the record.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll bench the MVP so he doesn't break my record. That'll go over very well. If that happens, Staten Island would in fact secede from the city. They've threatened all these years. Nonetheless, a 3-point lead for the Cougars. They've led throughout, but CSI is chipping away at it.
CSI is a veteran team. They're not going to lose their composure at all. But Medgar will keep coming at them for 40 minutes.
It'll be kind of the frantic Medgar Evers Cougar movement and offense and aggression against, from CSI's point of view, the composure and the defense. CSI now 4 for 6 from the foul line. Medgar 0 for 4. So opportunities missed for the Cougars. They've got the 3-point lead. Copeland for 3.
Inside-outside basketball. They got inside. You have to double on Nixon, and you found the open man.
Well, this is what happens when you establish your post presence early. You got to guard him down low, and then it opens it up for the shooters like Copeland.
I think CSI's got to stay with that philosophy, though, and make them beat him from the outside.
Well, it's again the case of will your defense play better than our offense? Albano thinks about it, then goes for it. Falling down, hits the jump shot. 4-point lead now for the Cougars. This happens to be a real good basketball game.
Yeah, they're playing real hard right now. They're really battling, especially in the post.
And neither team is playing badly. Both teams are playing well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's good to see in the championship game we're getting the best of both teams. We got number 1 versus number 2.
We had number 1 versus number 2 in the women's game too. Your Lehman College Lightning, unfortunately for you, didn't come out that way.
Yeah, that was a good game. Both teams played very hard, and I think Hunter was the better team on this night.
Raheem Lowry will go to the foul line. Young man out of Boys and Girls High School. Has had a real strong tournament so far. Had 11 points and 8 rebounds in the semifinal game against York, as you see him going up there. 15 points and 16 rebounds in the game against Hunter.
Missing a lot of free throws. That's their Achilles heel sometimes, these big guys. Some teams just go to that foul technique.
Lowry puts it home. 5-point lead now for the Cougars. Now the press. Looks like a man press. Am I reading that right?
Just straight man, aggressive straight man press, yes.
And kind of the pressure causes Andres to misfire. So the Cougars will bring it back. 7 minutes left in the first half. Look how quick Copeland is. But Nesbitt stayed right with him and really made him change his shot.
Kept Copeland in front of him. He's a penetrator. Got to keep him in front, but it's a tough assignment. He can really play, Copeland.
David Paul got a chance to get a quick sip of Gatorade, come back on the court. John Smith will check back. Neva Blockus will sit down, as does Eric Andres. Long jump by Jerome. Sean Jerome out of Lincoln High School misses the shot. And CSI will bring it back the other way. 6:47 left in the first half. Quality basketball game for the championship. It's been a great season for the men's division. And we can talk about it a little later, but there's been nothing obvious. Everybody's had to really fight for what they want. Albano is loose, and that's dangerous.
Chip Albano's open. He sets his feet. He's shooting over 40% from 3. He can really knock it down.
The #1 3-point shooter in the conference. Chad Scott in the game now for Medgar Evers. And Mike Richards in the game, but he traveled with it.
Takes the subs from Medgar a little time sometimes to get their feet under them, and that's how sometimes you can get back in the game, but it also takes energy to get back in the game.
I count 11 players. He's already used 11 different players in this game. He's got a 2-point lead, which is certainly in jeopardy at the moment. The ball's knocked out of bounds. Stewart has it knocked away. And CSI will inbounds. Stewart to Albano. Look at Copeland. You love playing defense like that. Center of gravity is low. His hands are right on the ball. That's how you coach it.
Unbelievable ball pressure, and they're forcing a lot of turnovers. CSI is a little sloppy with the ball. They got to take care of that.
Chad Scott brings it across. And here's pressure on the other side. How about that? Same thing in the opposite corner of the court.
Chad Scott playing the 1. He usually doesn't play the point guard for Medgar Evers. Coach Holford probably trying something different. He lit us up for over 20, Chad Scott, playing the 2 spot.
Stewart to Nesbitt. A little bump and grind there, but nothing called. Aggressive defense. Boy, oh boy. It's interesting that they both play hard defense, different style defense. Medgar's more scrambling and frantic. Staten Island holds their position a little better.
Medgar wants to get into passing lanes. They want to force turnovers, get out and run. CSI wants to make you take a low percentage shot and then clean off the glass. That's the 2 different philosophies.
I do like a lot of the matchups, which are just, from a fan's point of view, entertaining. Watching Albano and Malik Copeland going at it. And Michael Stewart and Jabbar Clayton going at it. I mean, these are tremendous matchups because both teams are putting up skilled players.
Yeah, there's a lot of good one-on-one matchups today, and I think if you watch too during the game, in the post, there's some real battles. It's real physical in the post.
Anthony Henderson back in the game for Medgar. Boy, as a coach, how do you keep track, or do you not even bother keeping track of all the substitutions? Just let him do his thing. There's no way you can match up. He's always changing players.
Yeah, you just got to know what Tony will know is he'll know the key guys. The guys who in the last 5 minutes are going to make the big shots. And believe me, CSI will know who those guys are.
Malik Copeland misses a big shot. So we are knotted at 27 with 5 minutes left. The Dolphins have come all the way back. David Paul. And he's been a factor. They've got to watch him because he's certainly capable of breaking out at any time. Led the conference in scoring. Nesbitt, beautiful drive, and the left-handed scoop shot, or kind of layup shot, and it's a 2-point lead for Staten Island, their first lead of the game. Well, that time too tight. Michael Stewart went a little too far, and so the foul was called.
That's what makes Copeland real tough, though. If he isn't beating you on penetration, then he's going down to the block and trying to post you up.
Big Khalil Nixon bumping and shoving with Big David Paul. But they also don't like to waste time putting the ball up. And there's 5 seconds in and they put it up.
That's how they play, and they're going to play like that the whole game.
And CSI can't get caught up in that. They got to play their own style. Another errant pass and a turnover by the Dolphins. 2 seniors, Albano and David Paul, not getting together.
They want to get it into Paul. That's the right play. They just need to be a little more patient with that.
11 different players have played the game for Medgar Evers. They keep shuttling guys in and out. Copeland They were fortunate to get it back. That was well defended. Nixon guarded by Alfieri that time. And Nesbitt with the rebound. Kasim Nesbitt, senior out of New Utrecht High School. Go ahead.
Tempo's kind of switched a little bit. Game slowed down, and that plays the CSI's favor.
Albano to David Paul. Nesbitt, everybody scrambles. Jabbar Clayton with the hesitation. See, that's a case where you could kick it back out and set your offense. They don't do that. They go right up to the hoop, the Cougars.
Yeah, Medgar really doesn't set their offense. I mean, their offense is their defense. They live off their defense, pushing it up and just getting it inside to Nixon and kicking it back out.
Chad Scott on Albano. And Copeland on Stewart. Gets a step. Bodies go flying. And it's Khalil Nixon with the loose change. The score is knotted at 29. Stewart at the top of the key. His shot was blocked, so he was fortunate to get it back. It's David Paul leading Nesbitt. And it was too easy for Nixon to knock that away. Put it right up for him.
Nixon's just a major factor. He's doing it on both ends. Rebounded the basketball. Now he's blocking shots. He's playing big.
We talked about contrast in styles. You see Tony Petosa sitting there, and he'll sit there most of the game. Bob Holford has worn out of space in front of the Medgar bench. He's walking around the whole game. Nesbitt misses the shot. Who is that? Andres, yeah. Eric Andres puts it back up. Hey, Andres, he's averaging just about a rebound and a half a game, but he makes things happen, and physically he's not a large guy. He stands at 6'5", but he's very lanky and gets in there. He gets where he needs to be.
Well, I really respect Eric a lot, because last year he was a starter for this team. Like I said, this year he's coming off the bench, but you know what? I've watched Tony since the tight games have come in the end of February and in the postseason. Eric's getting a lot more minutes.
He shoots 79% from free throw. The free throw stripe. You saw the foul on Andres. He's an accounting major with 3 minors. So here's a guy with a lot of interests and comes out of St. Peter's in New Jersey. 2-point lead now for Staten Island. And so Sean Jerome will walk it across. This is the versatility of Andres to guard Jerome at the guard position. Clayton has had nothing this game other than that jump shot.
They'll just keep putting it up, those guys, Clayton and Copeland. They'll keep attacking until they get hot.
Tied at 31. Alfieri. Tight man-to-man defense by the Cougars. I mean, there's just not, you've got to set a pick to free somebody, otherwise you don't get a shot. They freed up Nesbitt for a second. 6 on the shot clock. Jabbar Clayton with the rebound. And he'll walk it across. A little hesitation and a nice pass to Anthony Henderson. That was the kind of move you see like if you watch basketball at the West 4th Street playground, where a guy just does a little shake and bake and do the side hand dish.
Medgar Evers has a lot of that street game in them. That's what they like to do. They like to get the game going a little crazy, getting a little street ball involved, and that just plays to their advantage.
Now, we talked about the men's conference and the competition. Every time I was looking at matchups, it seems like each team split with the other team. CSI won one and lost one to Medgar. Here's the move by Nixon, and you see the little bump inside there. But each team split. Now, you split with both these teams also, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we were able to beat CSI at home, which was a great win, and then we lost in double overtime to Medgar Evers. It's been that kind of year in CUNY.
And Baruch has had the same experience. You go up and down. York, it's just been a great year for the men's conference. And that's why, unfortunately for you, it didn't matter who you faced in the quarterfinal round because there were great teams everywhere.
This year really 1 through 9, it didn't really matter. It's all really a matter of matchups, who you match up good with, and
how well you play in the big games. Not that I meant to rub it in, Coach. Lehman got eliminated in that first round, but what can you do? Jabbar Clayton, after the turnover, misses the scoop shot. And Albano will come back the other way for Staten Island. Interesting little game going on here. And as tight as you could be on defense. Andres behind the back. Nobody knew where the ball was. Look out. Oh man, Alfari goes flying. They were about a half a foot above the rim on that one.
CSI,
Go ahead.
CSI has just got to try to reverse the ball, then they'll get it inside.
What kind of shot was that? Nesbitt didn't seem to have a good look at it. Gets his own rebound with 40 seconds left. Andres. Oh, this is a wild and frantic basketball game. 32-31, the Cougars with the lead. The only problem with a frantic game from Staten Island's point of view is that means they're playing to Medgar Evers' pace.
Correct. They've got to keep it like it was in the middle of the half where it started to slow down, just like now. Try to reverse the ball, get it into David Paul.
12 seconds left. Albano goes up with it. High off glass with 6 seconds. Nesbitt a little too unselfish that time. 3, 2, and the referee calls it off and says that Alexander Cologne was on the end line, so with 0.8 seconds left, there we go, 0.8 seconds left, CSI will have to inbound and try and throw one up, otherwise it'll be a 1-point lead. Looked like they gave him about 3 seconds on there. Excuse me, I'm all choked up because it's been a fabulous half of basketball. Very entertaining. And there's no way to track who's going to win this one. 32-31 as we go to the locker room. The Cougars with a slender 1-point lead. Gary Axelbank and Coach Steve Shulman of Lehman College will take a short break. You are watching the 37th annual Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships on BronxNet and CUNY TV. Leading the Staten Island Dolphins. Coach, it's one of those games where, as a fan and an analyst, you can watch it and kind of just enjoy it. But the players start to realize at some point there's a lot at stake here. If you're Coach Picosa, what do you say to Staten Island?
I think, first of all, you say, hey, it's great that we're only down 1 point. They came out real slow. Medgar got on them with a couple dunks early. You could have got away from them. The fact that they're only down 1, that's a good thing. I think he's telling them, run your offense, be a little more patient before you force the ball inside. Reverse the ball, we'll get it inside, we'll get good shots.
Yeah, because at the point, toward the end of the half, we made the point that Medgar Evers kind of got Staten Island into that kind of frantic rhythm which helps them out. Staten Island's got to keep remembering, play our game. Now if you're Medgar Evers, what do you do?
I think Medgar Evers, that first half was their kind of game. I think they've got to keep it up, pressing, running. The only thing I think they've got to focus on, though, is remember that Nixon's got to touch it. Sometimes they go 2 or 3 minutes when they start jacking up shots. Get it into Nixon, then he'll kick it out, you'll get your shots.
That's right, because we said that also earlier, that what it does is it establishes the low post, and that frees up people on the outside. It's a good point. Well, that's why you're the coach.
We're trying to do, but I think both teams are going to come out. I think you're going to see the same thing. It's going to come down to the last 4 or 5 minutes like every CUNY game does all year, and we'll get a champion.
One way or the other, yeah. All right, 32-31 is the score. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. We'll talk to some folks at halftime right after this. Looking at the stat sheet for halftime, it's pretty much even. The field goal percentage for Medgar Evers a little better, 40 to 34%. Medgar 2 for 9 from 3-point, and CSI 1 for 8 from 3-point land. It's almost like the biggest difference is Medgar 2 for 8 from the foul line, and Staten Island 8 for 10. There's a 6-point swing right there.
I also think that the the rebounding. The fact that CSI is out rebounding Medgar, that's a tough thing to do, and that's keeping them in the ball game.
29-18. And also, if you look at point totals, if you look at CSI point totals and Medgar point totals, there's really nobody dominating. The highest scorer in the game is Khalil Nixon with 8, and then 7 for Raheem Lowry. David Paul has 7, and everybody else with just 2 or 4 apiece. So here we go. It's even. 20 minutes to play. The winner takes home the bacon and gets an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. It will be either Staten Island or Medgar Evers. Let's get started in the second half. It is Sean Jerome and Steve Chase in the backcourt for Medgar, Anthony Henderson, Khalil Nixon, and Raheem Lowry in the forecourt for Staten Island. It's Albano, Stewart, Nesbitt, Alfari, and Paul, the same 5 that started the first half. And here we go. Staten Island with the ball, down by a point. Senior Kasim Nesbitt goes to Alfari. Down low to David Paul. Look at the pass. Good pass from Paul to Nesbitt, and the CSI by 1.
Great execution by CSI coming out of the half.
Anthony Henderson. Alfari gets it, and everybody going down, but Albano, so slick with the ball, brings it back up the court. Nesbitt, they're forcing him to the right side. Down low to Paul, they'll double team him, but that frees Nesbitt to get a step. Great defense, Henderson knocked it away. Freewheeling style by the Cougars, boy, you gotta love it. Well, that's interesting. Bob Holford, just a minute into the second half, wants a timeout. What do you think he's thinking about?
Yeah, I think he didn't like the way they came out. Maybe he thought they were a little unfocused, and he just wants to get them focused up. Not a bad timeout right there. He's got plenty to burn.
We're in the midst of the men's championships, the CUNY Athletic Conference men's finals. And the legacy of this tournament, of course, goes back many, many years. Medgar Evers was in the game in 1993, lost to Hunter 104-73, one of the highest scoring CUNY finals ever. Then 2 years previous to that, in 1991, they beat Hunter 101-92. You don't see a lot of 100-point games anymore. Here we're into the second half, we're in the 30s.
Usually championship games are tough defense, low-scoring games.
Well, if Medgar had their way, they'd run up the score here, too. But that's not going to happen in this kind of game. Chase, guarded by Stewart. Well, I just love the matchups here. Each one is 2 talented players. Lowry misses it. Paul with the rebound. And Albano collects the offense. Gets it back. The turnaround, he knew he was getting fouled and went up with it.
Paul's doing a great job right now of just running the floor and getting early post position. That way they can get him the ball before Medgar gets and sets up their defense.
Gives us a chance to look at David Paul. As you look at Bob Holford there, David Paul at the foul line. 2-time player of the year in the CUNY Athletic Conference. A 6'6" senior, came out of Lafayette High School. Interesting, we talked about the connection between Tony Petosa and David Paul. The fact that they both were vying for the lead in Staten Island scoring. David Paul, a student at Lafayette, Tony Petosa, a math teacher at Lafayette, said he doesn't usually recruit, but he did in that case.
If I had David Paul in my math class, I'd be sure to recruit him.
Yeah, he'd figure out a way to get him into school, into college. So 2-point lead now. He goes 1 of 2 from the foul line. Look how quick Jerome is. To Henderson. All CSI on the rebound. Albano. I like the way Medgar plays defense. Their hands are always up.
Very active.
Yeah,
always
active.
getting in the passing lane.
David Paul with no place to go. Excellent defense on the MVP of the conference. Jerome across the court to Henderson. The last one he took the 3. This time he drives. Had a good look and missed it. Nixon with the follow and the foul.
Nixon's just having a big game. He's really hurting CSI in the glass, and they're going to have to do something to stop him.
Leading scorer in the game with 10 points. Second foul on Mike Alfari, and we're knotted at 34. Here's a look at it. You could see he got fouled as he fell away, but was strong enough to be able to power the ball into the hoop. So Nixon, as we said, if there's one negative to his game, it's his free throw shooting. And he doesn't look in rhythm at all. But look at that. The Cougars get the rebound, and Nixon goes right back at it. Stewart grabs it. Nesbitt fires it really to nobody and loses the ball. Copeland gets it back. Well, they move it quick too, don't they? In and out, just like you said, Coach. Lowry misses it though. How do you stop that?
It's difficult to stop. I think you got to just double down on them hard, make them kick it out, and hope that Copeland and Clayton and Chase don't make the threes.
Or if you double down, maybe you're lucky enough to get a hand in the way to stop the rhythm of it. But they move the ball so quick, it's tough to do. Albano to Stewart. Knotted at 34. And he's playing tighter than a girdle that time.
You can see Coach Holford wasted no time in the second half getting Copeland in. It was about a minute and a half and the horn went, and here comes Copeland.
Jabbar Clayton really hasn't been a factor in the game. And they got Nesbitt on a push right in front of our bench. And so Nesbitt gets the foul. That's his first foul.
Copeland is really impressing me right now with his hands. He's getting his hands on a lot of balls, causing a lot of havoc.
And he'll inbound from right in front of us. Steve Chase guarded by Michael Stewart. And then look at that, Eric Andres back in the game. His hand is on the ball, making himself a pest on defense one way or the other. Good play by David Paul to step out and block the drive. As a result, CSI will bring it down the court. They want to use David Paul as often as they can in the offense. He's such a threat. Nice pass from Albano to Alfari.
Great penetration by Albano. He sees the floor so well. Made a great pass for two.
I think the reason he got that open was they were so concerned about David Paul. Mike Alfari found a spot. 2-point lead for the Dolphins. 15:50 left in the second half of the championship game.
I think that was a good strategy right there. They doubled down on Nixon and made him be a passer.
David Paul to Andres. How could you not like the game Eric Andres is playing? 8 points off the bench. The Staten Island fans on their feet now. A 4-point lead for the College of Staten Island. Bob Holford said, let's see if we can get some rhythm again. Gary Axelbank, Steve Schulman. And it's a 30-second timeout. All right, we'll accept that. We won't take a break. And we should mention that we've talked at halftime with Con Edison and State Farm. Lots of different organizations sponsoring the CUNY Athletic Conference this year. You know that Spalding and Modell's and Subway, and I know, Coach, you can tell us that is the look at the Andres basket, but you can tell us how important it is when you have public colleges to bring sponsorship into tournaments and athletic activities like this.
Yeah, it's just outstanding. This CUNY tournament, I'm new to it. It's only my second year at CUNY, and it's just well run by Ted Hurwitz and CUNY, sponsors, Con Edison, Subway. Outstanding job. Everyone's treated well.
I'll tell you, the excitement in the gym, both in the women's game and in this game, you could feel it when you walk in. It's noisy and active. You know, families and neighbors coming out to enjoy basketball. Good basketball.
Hunter College is a great location. Nice small gym. Really gets rocking.
Fans are right over the court in this gym. 10 on the shot clock. Good D again by Staten Island. Contact. But look who, Eric Andres in the way of the charge.
Andres is really stepping up. Senior, coming off the bench and doing an outstanding job for the Dolphins.
Be interesting to see what happens with Clayton through this game. He has been their MVP and really their best, I think their best player through the year, but he's certainly been a total non-factor in this game. David Paul, he's loose down low. Look out, folks.
Outstanding execution by the Dolphins. Paul locking up Medgar Evers on the block, and you can't stop him when he's that close.
I was just about to say, as they tried to throw the ball into Nixon, it's about time they start getting it in there to Nixon, see if they can open things up and use him as a weapon.
The Dolphins, though, are doubling down now, and I think maybe Coach Petoza waited till the second half for that to see what he could do with it.
This time it's Clayton. They almost had too much time. Turned a jump shot into a set shot, and it didn't fall. Stewart looking inside at David Paul, and he shook his fingers and said, no, not this time. So Stewart gets fouled instead, and he goes to the lane and the line. Here's a look at Michael Stewart going into the lane and getting fouled in there. They say that was before the shot. All right, the foul was on Chase. That's his third. They got so many players, I tend to not worry about foul trouble. David Paul driving baseline. It was cut off. Good ball movement by CSI. Stewart misses the turnaround. Sean Jerome to Clayton. Too hard off glass. Andres has it knocked away. And this is where CSI has to collect itself. Let's see an offensive foul.
Called Andres coming over the back on the rebound.
That's a tough call.
The crowd doesn't seem to like it either.
Well, that side of the crowd. The side behind us seems to like it just fine. 6-point lead, 40-34. Medgar has to climb back into it. Copeland, they're playing a little bit too much one-on-one, and Staten Island can eat that one alive. You start driving on this Staten Island defense, one on 4, and you're in trouble. Nixon has no place to go. Clayton to the lane, and one. Michael Ferry can't believe it, but Jabbar Clayton got in there so quick that there was no way you could establish position.
It's a great move by Clayton. He's got a quick first step. He got the body contact, and he finished. But you were right about you were saying with CSI. They're very disciplined defensively. If you just try to go one-on-one, you're not going to get a good shot.
I mean, the kind of defense they play will eat that kind of game alive. So Jabbar Clayton will go to the line. You know, he played at FIT with Marvin Rippey's great program. A couple of years back, was out of school for a few years. And Bob Holford said, you know, we work at second chances at Medgar Evers, and that's the beauty of our program, and Jabbar Clayton getting to do everything.
A little bit of full court pressure now by Medgar Evers looking to trap.
3-point lead for Staten Island. This one's got to go down to the wire. We got some good players. With David Paul, number 33, the player of the year in the conference. Look at that. It's Eric Andres. I'm just about to say David Paul, the player of the year, but it's Eric Andres who's been lighting it up.
When you win championships, there's usually someone who steps up when you're not ready for him. Looks like it's Eric Andres today.
Wow, a tough pass inside to Lowry, and Lowry fights his way in. Everybody playing heroically in this one.
Medgar's just pounding it inside. That's what they got to keep doing if they want to win this game. Get to the foul line and get it inside.
There's the look at Lowry going in. And there's nothing Eric Andres can do. That's the third foul on Andres. And to the line, Raheem Lowry. 6'6" out of Boys and Girls High School. Just look at his numbers in the Hunter game. 15 points, 16 rebounds. Woo-hoo.
They can put up numbers, those two big guys. They can definitely put up numbers.
It's the combination of things that shows the real skills. Well, the fans wanted a fast break. Nebavlakas, who just checked in, threw it back out. It's a 4-point lead for the Dolphins. Neville Blockus was alone inside, and Khalil Nixon gives him the facial and then gets in his face.
Good block by Nixon. I think he sent a message there, even though he got the foul call. I think he's trying to tell him, look, CSI, don't come in the paint.
Neville Blockus will go to the foul line. Man, he jammed that one hard. Sometimes you do scare people from coming into the paint, even if you foul them.
You were talking about foul trouble with Medgar, how it really doesn't matter. There are two guys, though, Copeland and Nixon. I think those are the two guys where it matters. Everyone else is interchangeable, but in crunch time, he wants Copeland and Nixon in the game. Nixon
Hit the ball, but you could see he hit Neville Blockus hard with the body. And the young man makes two, so he's got 4 points all from the foul line, and that's clutch from a guy off the bench. 6-point lead for the Dolphins. Clayton, I thought he took a hop, skip, and a jump there, and Eric Andres playing a whale of a championship game. Champ Albano. David Paul looking inside. Nesbitt, they go inside to Neville Blockus. Paul gets bumped. No foul was called. He was looking for it. The shot falls off. Copeland. A little hesitation and a handoff to Jerome. Had a good look. Look at Nixon. That's got to be waved off. He was saying he got pushed, but he walked with it.
It was still a great rebound by Nixon. He just took some steps. Yeah, he's got to keep doing what he's doing. Get a little blow here. Coach Holford's giving him a rest. Then come in and keep hitting the glass.
Yeah, but Coach Holford is not taking a rest himself. You can see he is a bundle of energy on the sideline over there. Bob Holford has just got something to say to everybody about everything.
Coach Holford is energy, and that's how he coaches and gets these guys to play.
Open look and a miss by Eric Andres. 11:45 left in the second half. Henry Jameson in the game. The jumper is missed by Copeland. Staten Island having the better of play. But they've got the 6-point lead. And the Cougars having a little trouble making things happen. Nonetheless, Tony Potosa will call a timeout and try and talk things over. Gary Axelbank, Steve Schulman, the 37th annual Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championship on Bronx State and CUNY TV.
Hi, this is Nicholas.
All right, here's a look at Malik Copeland going up. And the ball went off the rim, and then Albano got the rebound. And since the score was 16-5, CSI has outscored Medgar Evers 40-23.
I think Tony called that timeout really just to rest his guys. They play a lot of minutes, and he wants to keep them fresh.
Yeah, with the Cougars running players in and out, it's important to keep your players fresh. David Paul misses the jump shot, so he's not taken over the game to this point. 6-point lead now for the Dolphins. Move by Lowry. Everybody thought he was too deep, but he put it home anyway. The lead is 4.
A 2-2-1 pressure by the Cougars.
Nesbitt, who has not been a factor, drives. Offensive foul is called.
Copeland came up big. He stepped in on Nesbitt, set his position, he got the charge. That's a big play.
That was a little surprising to me. I thought Nesbitt had a step. So Kasim Nesbitt only with 4 points in the game. And you know, you start to look at this point of the game, who's doing what they normally do. Nesbitt averages 15, only has 4 with 10 minutes left. You got to feel like that's a cog that's not working. Clayton, good move to get it down low. And it's put in by Henry Jameson. The lead is back down to 2. Blockus, kind of a wild hook, gets his own rebound, and it's collected by Sean Jerome. Ahead of the field to Copeland, the Medgar Evers Cougars.
This is the Cougars kind of run. They got the 2-2 pressure. They got the game going chaos again, and that's what they need.
They are tied at 45. And the Cougar side of the stands is whooping it up. David Paul, bowling his way to the basket, gets fouled.
Big play by David Paul. Settle down the crowd, get to the foul line. Good job by CSI.
Well, just a moment ago, it looked like that CSI had things going their way, but you blinked, and now it's 45-45 with only 9:30 left.
This is all the Cougars' philosophy. They just try to wear you down and hit you with one big run somewhere in the second half.
David Paul gets it to drop. He's a 64% free throw shooter. You know, he's a nursing major.
It's interesting that he's a nursing major. He doesn't play like that on the court. He's real tough,
Hey,
and he's a competitor.
Job. You know, let's be fair. It's a tough job. A senior out of Lafayette High School, averaging almost 20 points a game, leading the conference, third in field goal percentage. Misses that foul shot. It's a 1-point lead. Bodies are flying. Copeland
is just one of the best players in CUNY Conference, second team All-Star, and he's starting to show it right now.
7 points for Malik Copeland. Albano. Nesbitt. Good passing, but never Blockus didn't have it. Smartly put it back outside. Nesbitt. People want a foul called, but a jump ball was called. And I'll tell you, this guy off the bench, Mike Never-Blockus, is actually playing pretty well.
He's given Tony some pretty good minutes. Alfieri's ready to check right back in for him. He's done a good job.
A foul on number 21, Henry Jameson. But he's been a factor now. Tony Petosa said he likes his depth up front. This is one of the reasons why.
Yeah, he has 2 good freshmen who come in off the bench. And the thing is, they know their role. They're not looking for 20, 30 minutes, just a couple minutes to help the team.
But the key is when you come in the game, make an impact on the game then. Don't wait, don't take your time. Come in with a burst of energy. And he's done well. He's got 6 points in the game as he sits down, and as you said, Michael Ferry comes back in, as does Michael Stewart in the backcourt. So it is Albano and Stewart in the backcourt for Staten Island. Nesbitt, Paul, and Alfieri, the starting lineup. Clayton, to guard him, because if he starts heating it up, look out.
Pressure is coming from Medgar. They're really turning up the heat now. They're trying to see if they can break CSI.
Stewart threw it behind David Paul, and the ball was stolen. Copeland, great play from Copeland to Lowry. Copeland waited just long enough.
Great transition break by the Cougars. CSI's got to stay composed here.
3-point lead for Medgar Evers. And all of a sudden, it's amazing the mood swings of this game. The rhythm has changed, and all of a sudden, Medgar Evers has the better of play.
Good for CSI, though, that Albano got fouled. He's clutch from the line. He may be able to break the little momentum swing.
Well, Champ Albano, the best free throw shooter in the CUNY Conference. In the semifinal game, as you know, Coach, they were all knotted up, and it was a follow-up shot by Champ Albano in the lane that won it in the semifinal game by 2 over Baruch. So this guy knows how to play big in big spots. The lead is 1, 8 minutes left. I hope folks are enjoying this game. This is a city basketball game. It's fast, it's tough, it's aggressive, it's smart. A lot of things going on out here. Clayton, inside. It's talented as well. We forgot to add that. But he misses that shot, and Albano will bring it back the other way. Albano collects it. Look at that. Almost got it to go. Good play, but it didn't work. 1 point lead with 7:20.
Getting down to crunch time now. Last 7 minutes of the championship game.
You know, Bob Holford is waving like crazy, but you know, there's not a lot of coaching you can do at this point. You've done it all year. Players got to win it on the court. What a shot. Sean Jerome was guarded, and the young man out of Lincoln High School bags the jumper. 3-point lead for the Cougars. The fans from Brooklyn on their feet. And now, a break from the Cougars. Copeland with a left hand lays it home.
Great lay-in by Copeland using the left hand. Coach Holford now is on the sidelines. He wants pressure. He's yelling for more and more pressure.
And Tony Petosa wants a timeout. Got the feeling the CSI team was dragging just a little bit.
I'm saying Tony, the players he has, they play big minutes. So this is common for them. And they'll come right back, they'll settle out of the timeout, and they'll make it a close game down the stretch.
37th annual CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships on Bronxnet and CUNY TV.
Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs.
All right, here's a look at what just transpired. It was Copeland with the left hand and the layup, giving the Cougars a 5-point lead. You know, at this Sportsplex, which is completely below ground, is the deepest building in New York City, as a matter of fact. And here at Hunter College, it was where Tony Petosa scored 32 points to lead the Dolphins over CSI in the 1986 championship game. Coach Petosa was the MVP that year. A lot of memories for him here downtown. And that was not one of them. The ball goes out of bounds.
They're saying it was tapped by a Medgar player, so CSI.
And you know what I like? There's a lot of whooping going on between the crowds as well. Not only the players and the coaches, the crowds are yelling at each other from both sides of the court. Albano, he can hit that, and he does. Albano with 10 points now, and now it's a 2-point lead. Man, if you're a basketball fan, how could you not enjoy this? Copeland, Alfieri, and now Staten Island with a chance to tie or better. 5:50 left. Look at the long strides by the guard, Michael Stewart. He's got a future in this conference, doesn't he? Nesbitt guarded by Clayton. It's one of the best matchups of the day. A foul is called, but you know, Nesbitt was pushing away with his hand. I don't want to attack the refs for every call. That was a tough one.
Yeah, this is a real tough game to officiate, actually. Medgar really gets out on you, pressures you constantly for 40 minutes, and they've done a good job so far. They've kept control of the game.
55-53 is the score. Nesbitt will go to the foul line. Here's Bob Holford, the frantic conductor of the orchestra. You go in, you come out.
He's got Clayton and Copeland out, but believe me, it's going to be for about 30 seconds maximum.
It looked like he just brought him out so he could talk to him. Alexander Cologne checking in, as does Henry Jameson. This is Sean Jerome guarded by Albano. Cologne, who's a bundle of energy when he comes on the court. Steve Chase in the game now. I'm trying to keep up, Coach, I swear. Jameson from the side. Good boxing out by Mike Alfieri. He pretty much had 3 guys out of the way so that the ball would go out of bounds.
Alfieri is a position rebounder. He uses his butt. He boxes out well.
Albano. Michael Stewart. Nesbitt. Stewart. And they'll reset. Stewart. An offensive foul is called. And this time Tony Petosa's off the scene. He is wailing away on the sideline. I think I just read his lips. He said, how could you call that?
I think Tony thought that it was really a no-touch foul, kind of a flop.
4:45 left. Everybody's emotions have now been raised a couple of levels. Too high off the glass. Lowry over the back. Now Petosa has quietly got his seat because he likes that call.
CSI just missed an important one-on-one a couple of minutes ago. They got to cash these in.
Yeah, otherwise you lose opportunities to get 2 points. You know, one thing I did want to mention that Bob Holford has put together this team. It's not a bunch of individual players. They work together. One of the things he has is a father's club. And so some of the guys who have issues with kids and families brings them together, works it out, and they work together as a team. They come together as a team, and here they are in the championship game, which is the end result of it. He said we're committed to our destiny of winning the CUNY title and maybe going to the NCAAs. Clayton too high. Game getting sloppy right now. Nesbitt, 4:10 left. David Paul has been quiet of late, and a jump ball, good play by Henry Jameson to get the ball back for the Cougars.
Excellent defense by the Cougars. They smothered them with 2 guys. Paul couldn't get it up on the rim.
There's the double down, which you have to do when you are playing against the player of the year. Copeland, guarded by Stewart. Jameson, good defense by Michael Stewart. Boy, he's a freshman, but he really has played pretty well throughout the second half especially.
He's played in big games all season for the Dolphins. He's not really a freshman.
At this point in the year, you're right, Coach. Good point. 3:35 left. The Cougars by 2. Excuse me, it's tied.
Nesbitt, he's a clutch player. He'll keep taking that jumper. He's not afraid to take it in the last 3 minutes.
6 points for Nesbitt. 55 all, 3:20 left. Not a good shot by Copeland. Although, of course, if it drops, it looks great, but that one didn't look real pretty.
Just to talk about what you said with Coach Holford, I mean, just 2 years ago, Medgar Evers was getting blown out in the play-in game. That's the 8-9 game.
I remember that, yeah.
And here they are today in the championship playing great.
And playing together, and they're spirited. Tremendous job by Bob Holford. And certainly, Coach Shulman, you deserve acknowledgement as Coach of the Year as well. You had a great season with the Lehman Lightning. Little roll pass inside to Lowry. Clayton. It's pretty wild. Paul grabs it. Hands to Albano, who gets it to Stewart.
This is where CSI is at their best. They'll run their offense. They're probably going to get a good shot.
And they would hope that their experience would be a factor here. We should add that in the semifinal game, in the quarter, look at that shot by Stewart. In the quarterfinal game, Hunter sent it to overtime on a last-second shot. The Cougars stayed composed and ended up advancing in overtime. All right, we better take a break. We'll all catch our breaths, including the announcers. 57-55, Gary Oxelbank, Steve Shulman. The 37th annual Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships on BronxNet and CUNY TV. All right, back with you. Okay, back with you at the Sportsplex. Everybody having a good time, the fans, the cheerleaders, the announcers. This is just a good game. And you never know how these things are going to play out. Where it comes down to a last-second shot or some team gets a little mini run somewhere along the way. Medgar Evers has not scored in the last 4 minutes, and CSI on a little 7-0 run. So Medgar had been up by 5, and now they're down by 2. There have been 7 ties and 7 lead changes in this game.
It's been a great game. This is the 3rd time they've played, so they've all been close.
What a blocked by David Paul. How about that? David Paul way up over the rim to cleanly block the shot.
A little bit of adrenaline.
A lot of people thought that Albano palmed it. Just under 2 minutes left now. Nesbitt, everybody bumping and shoving. Oh, look at that one. Albano, it's frantic now. Nesbitt with 10 on the shot clock. And let's see, the referee says my timeout. Nate Milligan says what? Oh, I think he said that on that play that the ball was kind of flipped out, the ball was out of bounds, so they're resetting the shot clock. That's what happened.
It's interesting. I didn't see the ball hit the rim. I didn't see it really change.
No, I think with the if it's out of bounds, it should have hit the rim. You're right.
Maybe when Medgar, they're saying Medgar had possession. Threw it away.
In other words, that he grabbed it and whirled it. I couldn't see who it was. It was somebody who was falling on the ground. As they wipe up, there was a problem with some leaky pipes in the gym earlier this week, so they want to make sure everything's clean. So that's what happened, is that because he grabbed it and got possession, they reset the shot clock. That was it. He wasn't out of bounds, but they had to reset the clock. A little mini advantage for Staten Island, because on their offensive end it was frantic and they got to slow things down now. Alfieri guarded on the exterior by Lowry. Man-to-man all the way by the Cougars. Stewart gets fouled. And both coaches yelling and screaming.
One ref had a block, one ref had a charge, so let's see what they do. It's a big call.
I think it's the ref that called the block will have the final say. It's Phil Saluzio, Nate Milligan, and John Dooley trying to get together. Here's the look at the three of them. There's three refs. There's got to be a 2-to-1 vote.
I'm impressed with Stewart, though, the freshman. He made a big basket a minute ago.
Here's the look at it. That's a charge. There's no question about it. He had his feet planted. That's an offensive foul. We can show that one again. We got a moment. We can roll it up real quick, fellas, and get that one again. That was an offensive foul, no question about it. Here it comes. Here it is. Look, he had his feet planted. He was run right into it. That's a foul, offensive foul on Michael Stewart. So if CSI gets it, they got a break.
I think they're calling it a jump ball, and CSI is going to get it by possession.
Wow. No, they called the foul on Michael Stewart. Wait, how can they call it on Michael Stewart and give the ball to Staten Island? And Bob Hofer wants to know the same thing. They call the foul either way. So they didn't know how to call it, and I never saw that before. They called it on Clayton, and they called it on Stewart.
That's an interesting. They charged and blocked in one play.
Charge and a block in one play, and then just gave the ball back to CSI. Wow. And making it up as we go along. Schoolyard rules here. There's a schoolyard play. And now a jump ball, and CSI will get the ball. Oh, wait, what they call now? Hold on.
Actually, Gary, I think they gave the ball to CSI in that last one, and they never moved the clock.
That was it. Good point. You're right, so now it'll go to Medgar. Here we are, 1:20 left in a 2-point championship game, and the rules are changing. Or at least things we've never seen before. No problem. I think everybody feels like it's been fairly done.
It's been a well-officiated game, and let's hope it finishes out that way and the players decide.
As tough a game as it is. Here we go. 1:14 left. Staten Island up by 2. Medgar Evers with the ball. Chase looking to drive. Hands it to Jamison, who misses. And Staten Island with a minute left and a 2-point lead has the ball. Albano. They need a good shot. They don't get it. Clayton blocks Nesbitt. So Jabbar Clayton in crunch time comes up big on D. And on offense.
Big man play Clayton. First he makes the block, then he goes down one-on-one and ties up the ball game.
57 all, 38 seconds left. Stewart has it knocked away, and it's stolen by Medgar Evers. Chase misses the jumper. Nesbitt And another jump ball is called. This time it'll go to Staten Island. I thought Nesbitt walked with it when he came down.
He might have walked. He also could have got fouled. To tell you the truth, I thought that was a great clutch rebound by Nesbitt. He went in there in traffic, and he made sure he came up with it.
He's only 6'2", and there's guys 6'5", 6'6", and 6'7" in there, and he's the one that came down with him. Albano will bring it across. 25 seconds left, and we're all tied. The championship of the city is on the line. Shot clock is off. Albano with 10. Nesbitt is down low, and foul is called. Well, it's a good play to foul him and not let him get a layup.
It was also a great job by CSI. Tremendous pressure by Medgar Evers. They moved the ball and got it in.
Look how rough this gets underneath here. We got a man down, too. I mean, we say it in plain language, them boys play rough. Malik Copeland, you're looking at right now, I think he's winded. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just collecting just about everything he's got for these last 7.2 seconds. Now it's definitely worth noting that Champ Albano in the same situation, here's a look at it again, the same situation in the semifinal game, Champ Albano went into the lane, got his own rebound, put it back, and then advanced to the final game by beating Baruch. Here's Nesbitt at the line, a 79% free throw shooter, and Bob Holford wants to ice him. Coach, this has been some game.
Unbelievable game. Both teams really competing. Both teams kind of showing their style back and forth.
And after a season in which the men's conference has been as, this is my 9th final, I'm proud to say, and the men's conference has been as competitive as you can imagine. Lehman, John Jay, and Baruch all at 8-5. Staten Island at 9-3. Medgar Evers at 9-4. York at 7-6. And every one of them were talented, deep, well-coached teams. For it to come down to 7 seconds left in a tie, I suppose that's right.
It's a great way to end this season. It's been a great season for CUNY basketball. For the first time we've gone out of conference, we've beaten a lot of teams, and I think it's going to show in the postseason with our bids.
We've got to look right in here to each coach and how they're handling it. I do want to mention the incredibly long day put in by the BronxNet production staff. They met at 7 o'clock this morning. They brought all the equipment in. I can't name all the names. I know I work closely with Corey and Jeremy and Alex, and of course Tamika's right here. And there's no point naming names. Everybody back there has just done a great job. The pictures, look at this. You're right into the huddle, and you've been that way for the women's championship game and the men's final game. So BronxNet deserves a tremendous hand for doing a quality job on this basketball game.
You can see Coach Holford in his huddle. He's basically telling the team, make sure you get the rebound. There's a lot of time. He kept saying, there's a lot of time for them to get a good shot.
Don't panic. That's what you want. So it's 7 seconds left. And there's only for Staten Island to do is make sure you make the foul shots and get back on D. I mean, that's all you can do.
Nesbitt's a good foul shooter. Their whole starting lineup is a good foul shooting team.
Well, now another timeout is called. Who was that on? All right, that timeout was called on Medgar Evers. Each team with a full, and Staten Island with a 30. So with 7.2 seconds left, Hasim Nesbitt will go to the foul line. Now Nesbitt also a nursing major at College of Staten Island. You see a couple of the fans there. And it's a wonderful thing. Of course, CUNY has a great nursing program throughout. Lehman with a great nursing program. And Nesbitt had 27 points and 6 rebounds in the quarterfinal game against CCNY out of New Utrecht High School. He's a senior, a guy who's played for CSI for 4 years. As good a player, as good a CUNY player. You see him coming on the court there. And here he is in the last 7.2 seconds of his final CUNY game with a chance to put his team up by 2, and hopefully go on to the title.
Staten Island really has a special program at CUNY. They win year after year because of Coach Tony Petosa. He's got upperclassmen. I mean, no one else at CUNY starts 4 seniors, 6 men to senior. Just outstanding to see.
Now, I'm looking in the CUNY record book that we have. There's no word here specifically on how many games we've had in overtime. Corey, I'm wondering if we could check and find out how many overtime games there have been in the CUNY finals. That would be an interesting stat to find out. We don't have it here in our record book, but it would be an interesting thing to find out. We don't know if we're getting to overtime, but a distinct possibility at this point. All right, here we go. 7.2 seconds left. Kasim Nesbitt to shoot 2. You look at the young man right there, the senior out of New Utrecht High School. Everybody in the house on their feet. Thought it was going to be short, but he got the roll.
Nesbitt, he loves this situation. He's been waiting for this for 4 years. Great job right there.
Now, does CSI press to slow him up, or do you just go back and play hard D in the half court?
I think they'll give a little token pressure just to use some clock.
You couldn't be any better than that. 7 seconds left. Copeland turns around, misses the shot, and that'll do it. And in an incredible basketball game, the CSI Dolphins have beaten the upstart Medgar Evers Cougars, and the long, glorious season by Medgar Evers is over. And for the Staten Island Dolphins, who are in a heap right now, go away with the champion.
Couldn't be happier for CSI. All those seniors putting all that hard work. They deserve it.
A tremendous city basketball game. And it's interesting, Medgar Evers didn't do anything fancy coming down the court. Do what they do all season. Get the guy who's got the ball in his hands to put it up. And they had a whack at the rebound, but it didn't happen.
Actually, a good move by Copeland. He had a good look at it. It just didn't go.
And he had one of his best players, Malik Copeland, 15 points a game through the season. The team all-star had a running one-hander, and it didn't go. That's the way. There's the final shot. It just didn't go. Nixon had a tip at it, and then maybe fittingly it was David Paul grabbing the rebound, the CUNY Player of the Year. Well, I know that Medgar doesn't feel like it, but it's hard to call a loser in this game.
No, neither team is a loser. Both teams gave it all they had. The 3rd time they've met, I think each game was 2 or 4 points. Just another barn burner.
59-57, CSI over Medgar Evers. Coach Solman, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Gary.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back to wrap it up in a moment. Okay, we're here with Coach Tony Petosa of the victorious Dolphins. Boy, what can you say about this game? This was as good a basketball game as people could see. They took you to the limit, didn't they?
Yeah, it was, you know what, it was a great game to watch. I think from a fan's perspective, and definitely from a coach's perspective, 2 teams that played extremely hard. I don't know how many lead changes, I don't know how much emotion, but obviously it's much better feeling to be out here right now.
Got to talk about your seniors, Nesbitt, Albano, and this guy right here. You know, they came up and they were the real leaders of this team in this game.
Oh, you know what? All 5 of them. Don't forget, Eric Andre's got us back in the game in the first half. Mike Alfieri did a great job playing defense. The seniors did a super job, Kane. That's what they're there for.
Now, let me talk to your MVP. Congratulations again, Coach. David Paul, you played in this conference for 4 years. How does this feel right now?
It's great. It feels so. I don't know what the hell to say. I'm just happy to fucking won.
Yeah. David, what about your coach right here? How about this guy?
Best guy in the world. I love this guy so much. He's like a second father to me. He did so much for me through the whole year. I just love him so much. He taught me so much.
David, I don't want to take more of your time. Congratulations on a great, great night for you and a great career at Staten Island.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Folks, tremendous emotion here. This is a young man who's a 2-time MVP in the conference, and he won the championship in his final CUNY game. They go on now and play in the NCAA tournament. That'll do it for us. This telecast of the 37th annual Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships has been produced through the facilities of BronxNet, the Bronx Community Cable Programming Corporation. Once again, the final score, CSI 59 and Medgar 57. I'm Gary Axelbank, for Coach Steve Shulman of Lehman, and the entire BronxNet production team. Good night, and thanks for watching the Con Edison CUNY Athletic Conference Basketball Championships on CUNY TV.